Hey painkillers, welcome to day 7 of the free Painkillers 30-day challenge. I'm so excited that you're here. You made it through 7 days, 7 different things to help massively reduce your chronic pain. At least they've helped massively reduce my chronic pain. And so before I go on to today's topic, how did it go yesterday? How did your meditation go? I'm going to share in the comments today, in today's lesson, how it went for me. And I think you'll notice I'm kind of doing that a day behind because I don't want to ruin what the next day's challenge is for you. So I don't want to talk about it in the email that comes, if you're even seeing those emails. But I do want to share the meditation I listen to because I'm not just telling you to try these things. I'm doing it myself because, like I said, I am doing this to continually improve my interaction, my relationship with chronic pain and how it affects my life. And so yesterday I found about a 20-minute meditation from, I'm not going to remember the gentleman's name. I know it was a guy with a really cool accent. And I just did a Google search for chronic pain meditations, and it was actually the first one that came up, and it had over 1.2 million views. And I figure any meditation that has that many views must be good. And if it wasn't, then I wouldn't have wasted my time. But usually, if a video's got a lot of views, you can trust that people have liked it and there's something about it that you can benefit from. So I went through that meditation, and you know, it's like a lot of meditations. I've gone through lots of meditations. So to me, it's like a lot of other ones, but it was excellent. And it did help me to relax and release and let go of some of my chronic pain. So what meditation did you try? Did you share it with the rest of us? Because I think that's really valuable when we share information with one another. So it's not just my opinion of whether this was a good meditation or not. If I share it, then other people can listen to it. Just like I shared my CD yesterday. I don't think they're called CDs anymore, are they? My DVD, or whatever they're called nowadays, yesterday, of one of my favorite meditations. Now, you might listen to that meditation and say, oh my God, this is stupid. It doesn't do anything for me. But like I said, I've only ever heard 5 minutes of it because I fall asleep all the time. I think I tried to listen to the whole thing once at my desk, so I wasn't in my bed and going to fall asleep, and I still only made it like 20 minutes into it. So that one obviously is very effective for me. Just like the topic of today's challenge. This challenge, this day, I could probably talk literally 8 hours a day for a week on. I have spent the vast majority of my life studying, learning about, experimenting on myself, and I still have so much to learn about this area. I've spent lots of time with professionals on this area of my life because I know it has such a huge impact on my health and on my experience of chronic pain. So I'm sure I could easily fill a week with the key messages that I would like to share in this particular area. But since I only have like 15 minutes, if I'm going to do a long one, sorry, I really need to focus in on the really important things, or the things that have made the greatest impact on me, my health, and my chronic pain. Because I think that if that's where you start, those will be the things that give you the greatest relief as well. So what am I talking about? I am talking about what we put in our bodies, and specifically what type of fuel or food we put in our bodies and what we consume. I went a lot of years not believing that what I ate mattered. I didn't take very good care of myself, and that resulted in me actually having a sudden cardiac arrest and dying. Now you're like, well, Sharon, you're still here talking to us, so obviously you're not dead. Well, but I was dead. I was dead and in a coma for over a week before they froze and revived and did all the things that magical doctors can do these days. But one of the main reasons and causes of that incident in my life, I learned after the fact, was because of the things that I was consuming. I was a diet pop, coffee, junk food aholic. I consumed, I would say 90% of my diet was Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Diet Pops, coffee, caffeine, and, jalapeno chips. I was a jalapeno chip and caramel eater. And I didn't really eat much else. I mean, I would eat a few other things, but for the most part, I was running, busy through my life, and I wasn't paying attention to the impact that what I was eating, my diet, because I hate the word diet, I mean, it's got the word die in it. Who wants to diet? I wasn't paying attention to my diet. However, that stage was intermixed with decades of yo-yo dieting. So I'm one of those people, and I'm sure I'm not alone because I know a lot of people have done yo-yo dieting as well. But I tried every diet just about that came out under the sun, looking for the magic diet, the magic pill, the magic potion that doesn't exist. Trying to achieve a model thin figure like I had when I was 15, which is totally inappropriate for somebody who's 57, 58 years old. But I haven't done that for a long time. Although I did just start a more ketogenic way of eating, so I guess I still do that. Anyway, so the whole topic of diet, and I like to call it fuel now, because I think of eating, instead of living to eat, I think of eating to live. And that's been a really difficult mind shift for me, but once I did that, it makes a huge difference. I'm less driven to emotional eating or eating when I hurt, and more driven to how is this particular food going to make me feel? And that's a great question to ask yourself, because I still love caramels. And if I had my way, I would eat lots of caramels every day. However, I've learned that when I eat caramel, it shows up as pain the next day in various parts of my body, particularly my hips and my shoulders and the back of my neck. So as much as I love caramel, every time I go to eat a caramel now, I'm thinking, okay, so where's it going to hurt tomorrow if I eat this caramel? And I have learned that I can probably eat one caramel a day and it's not going to kill me the next day. But if I consume a whole bunch or a whole caramel bar or a whole bowl of caramel ice cream, I'm definitely going to be paying for that tomorrow, and it's just not worth it to me anymore. I mean, maybe on my birthday, but probably not, because I don't want to feel rotten the day after my birthday. So what we eat makes a huge difference. Again, all of us are so different that what I can't eat, other people can totally eat, and it doesn't have any impact on them. Leading up to my cardiac arrest, I learned that following that event, sodium is probably one of the worst things for me. So in the past, where I would count calories and protein and carbohydrates, I switched everything to looking at the amount of sodium in the foods that I consumed for several years. And that served me really, really well, because there's so much hidden sodium in so many things. And unless you have a sodium deficiency of some sort, most of us get way too much sodium in our everyday diet. So cutting back on sodium, actually pretty much eliminating it altogether, except a little bit of Himalayan sea salt and very infrequently, that has made a huge difference for me personally and for my pain. It also eliminated a lot of the water and the water weight retention that I used to have when I had some of my chronic things going on, and when I have different flares. Water retention can be a problem for me. So cutting down on that sodium really had a huge impact and helped. It also really helped my blood pressure. I couldn't figure out why my blood pressure was really high when I was leaving the cardiologist one day, and I realized as I was driving, I was ripping open a package of beef jerky. Now, I was eating beef jerky every day thinking that it was a source of high protein and really good for me because I was trying to get my protein up. And lo and behold, I look at the package and there's like 800 and some milligrams, or maybe it was 1,200 and some milligrams of sodium in that little one serving package of beef jerky. So that was the last package of beef jerky I ever had, because, you know, my blood pressure was 152/86 or something. And that's outrageous for a woman my size, my age, and my weight. That was just ridiculous. So if I didn't want to have to go on a high blood pressure medication, I needed to change what I was consuming. And it was pretty easy to give up beef jerky. I like beef jerky, but I didn't need all the sodium. So sodium, reducing sodium is a huge one. The other one, gang, is reducing sugar. I know you love sugar. I love sugar. I love sweets. But it's in frickin' everything. I can't remember what the statistic was, but the average American eats like 140 pounds of sugar a year. That is mind-boggling. that there's that much sugar in all of the things that we eat. Now, I might have that statistic wrong. Don't beat me up. I could look it up if we were going to talk about it in depth. But it's a huge number. It's like a huge, unbelievable number. Because I remember when I heard it, I was like, are you kidding me? People actually consume that much sugar. So another way for me to personally really reduce my chronic pain or my joint pain, I have chronic joint pain, is to eliminate and reduce my sugar as much as possible. Again, I do like my caramel every once in a while, so obviously I'm not cutting it out altogether, but I try to pay attention to how much of it I'm consuming. Again, because there's certain sugary foods that I eat, and I know the next day I'm going to be paying for them. So it's up to you to decide, is it worth it or not? I prefer to get out of bed and interact and enjoy and experience my life more than I want to get the instant gratification of having a piece of cake or a piece of pie or a pastry. I mean, we've got cheese-filled pastries on the counter. They've been there for 2 days. Every time I walk by them, my brain says, oh, those look delicious. I really want one. And then my body says, yeah, hell no, Sharon. If you eat that, you will feel terrible. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop. And so then I just keep walking by the container. So water, sugar, salt. Okay, and the other biggie that is really hard for a lot of us with chronic pain to give up is processed foods. But processed foods, if you read the labels on stuff and you see what's in them, you will not want to eat them anymore. I remember in my 20s when I was working in corporate America and living on my own, I lived on like lean cuisine, Weight Watchers, those type meals. And following my heart event, I went to the store and I thought, well, maybe that would be a good and easy way to prepare meals and have something that's good for me to eat, and I don't have to think a lot about it. Well, I started reading the labels and the packages, and I can't eat those anymore. And unfortunately, folks, we like to think that organic and those type products are good for us. And yes, they're better for us, but if you start reading the labels on your organic processed foods, they are not much better for your body. So you have to decide, you know, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I have come up with all sorts of ways to actually pre-prepare things and make it easy and effortless for me to grab snacks, to create meals, and I do them in bulk. On Sundays, I will create like a week's worth of meals and freeze them so that I can just microwave or quickly prepare them. I baggie out snacks like celery and carrots, and I have apples and fruit, and I always have frozen fruit things on hand, and I will baggie them up in portion-sized things when I'm feeling great, so that when I'm not feeling good and I know I need to eat something, I can just go in and grab a healthy snack. I portion off almost everything that way, and that works for me. And here's the thing, you don't have to be the one that does that. If you are in so much pain you can't do that, you can get someone else to do that for you, so that when they're not around to help you all the time, you can still get at and have access to some of the things you need to fuel your body, so you're consuming the things that you should, so that you can feel good and can feel better. Last spring, I had a huge flare, and I don't think I've talked about it on this painkillers challenge yet, but I sprained my ankle. I try to walk every day and get exercise every day, and I sprained my left ankle, and it threw off and triggered everything in my body that has been pretty dormant for several years. And I could not get out of bed. I couldn't walk. It started in my ankle, then it went to my knees and my hips and the other joints in my body, and I literally could not take a step without actually wetting my pants a little. So the 12 steps to the bathroom, it was like I couldn't even make it to the bathroom. If I could get up the gumption to get myself up to try to go to the bathroom, I couldn't even make it there. So, you know, visions of visions of depends from here on in were floating through my head. And I was a little desperate. So I actually made a Facebook Live video. It was probably one of the very first Facebook Live videos I've ever done, just kind of sharing what was going on with me and asking if anybody that I knew or had any ideas of what could help me in this situation. And my very good friend, Cheryl Loris, who is an amazing healer and human being, actually reached out to me, and she helped me and turned me on to something about and trained me on how to eat for my blood type. Now, this might not work for you, but it totally worked for me. I massively changed what I was eating, because what I discovered when I learned about this eating for my blood type thing was that about 95% of what I was eating and how I was eating, even though I thought it was good for me and good for my heart and good for my chronic pain and my arthritis type pains, it turns out it was really, really bad for my blood type. And my blood was treating most of what I was eating as if it were poison. So I massively switched to just the foods that were highly beneficial for my blood type. And within 30 days, I was out of bed, walking, making it to the bathroom every time, going to the park every day and doing my daily walks, and back participating in my life and doing the things that I was trying to do to move my businesses from offline to online. And I can't say enough about it. And here's the deal. It totally worked for me. Doesn't mean it will work for you, but it's just another one of those things to look into and find out, because what if it does work for you? What if something like that, something so simple as changing your diet and making different choices of what you put into your body as fuel can make that big a difference for you too? Is it worth at least going online and researching a little bit about? To me, it sure was. So then, like I said, I don't like diets, but apparently I like diets because I like to create my own regimens and routines. It just works for me. I'm a pretty structured person and organized. I'm chaos, but I'm organized chaos. I like to have sort of a system and a routine. So it's like recipes. I've never cooked with a recipe, but I always have read recipe books. I love reading recipe books. I've read them since I was a little girl, and that's made me a really incredible cook, and it's why I had a food business. And I'm kind of the same way with diets and diet books. I like to read all the information and then assimilate it into something that works and is unique, that just works for me. So right now I'm actually looking at, I went to the cardiologist and I'm up 10 pounds from last year. Now, I don't think it's the eating for my blood type diet, but I do think that there's something going on in my body and it needs a change. So I've been reading a lot about ketosis and ketogenic diets, and I know that high protein, not high fat necessarily, but high protein diets have worked for me in the past. Now, the thing is, my blood type is like no protein or no animal protein. So it's really interesting because I always considered myself a total carnivore, but cutting out the animal protein made a huge difference in my level of pain. So again, it's like we're all our own greatest science experiment. You got to use yourself as a guinea pig to a certain extent and be willing to try and look into and experiment and see and feel what actually works for you, what helps you feel better, what doesn't make any difference, and what makes you feel worse. Because there are definitely things that we consume that make us feel worse. Think hot peppers. Now, prior to my heart event, didn't like spicy foods, with the exception of jalapeno chips. But I didn't really like spicy foods. No spicy foods, no Indian, no Mexican, no jalapeno, not very much Cajun. Anything that was super spicy or flavorful, I didn't really care for, and especially not hot peppers. Well, after my cardiac arrest, I guess this is pretty common in heart patients, I love spicy foods, like totally adore hot peppers, but I found out they're super bad for my pain and my inflammation. So I don't eat spicy foods very much anymore. I was eating cayenne pepper every day because I thought it was good for my heart. Well, come to find out it was super good for my heart, but bad for my blood. So all in all, I've now stopped consuming cayenne pepper. Actually replaced curcumin and turmeric because that is good for my joints. And so then I've learned that. So I'm always learning what is coming up, what's new, what's people are finding out that isn't good for us, and testing it on myself. And that's what you have to do. Nobody is going to fix you but you. Nobody can fix you but you. So you've got to be willing to be open to trying new things and seeing what does work for you. So today, challenge, consumption. I don't even, oh, let's talk 1 second about water before I quit, because I don't really talk about it, and I don't have plans to talk about it anywhere else in the 30-day painkillers challenge. So let's talk about water. In my mid-20s, I had lots of kidney issues. I had lots of, and that's part of what led to my chronic pain and my journey with chronic pain. I had a lot of kidney function problems, and it turns out that after several years of kidney problems and going through Mayo Clinic, which don't get me started on that, I ended up in the emergency room over Labor Day weekend one year with a giant kidney stone. Not a normal little teeny tiny size kidney stone, but a kidney stone that was so large it was blocking my ureter tube from my kidney to my ureter and had gotten infected. And it had been infecting because it had been lodged there for at least 3 weeks, the doctors figured. And they took pictures of it after they operated and gave me the Frankenstein scar on my side. And it's actually written up in medical journals. Woohoo! How famous you can be from the bad things your body creates. So I learned the lesson and the importance of consuming water. Since then, I drink at least for a long time, I drank 1 to 2 gallons of water a day. And then I got lazy and started drinking Diet Pop and coffee, but that's another story. But water is what makes all of our bodies work. All of our cells are made up of water. So unless you have a problem with your chronic pain that is specifically related to water, and your professionals have told you to not consume more water, I would say all of us need to be consuming at least 8 glasses of water a day. Now, 8 glasses of water, I'm talking 8-ounce glasses, so 64 ounces of water. It's not that much. And I'm going to share my little water trick with you. After my cardiac arrest, my dad taught me this trick, and he's since passed away. But he said what he did because he never drank enough water either. And actually, one of the things that can cause heart attack is not having enough water, which heart events had that probably because I wasn't drinking enough water. So what he taught me is have a glass of water, fill it, put it in a place that you walk by several times during the day. And then every time you walk by that place, you have to drink some water. Now, I like to drink the whole glass of water because I just have a little 8-ounce glass of water, which I should have here to show you, but I don't. It's my ladybug glass. And every time I walk by, I drink that glass of water, then I fill it up and I set it down again. So that every time I walk by that particular spot, I remember to drink a glass of water. Now, if you happen to be bedridden, you can do the same thing. Maybe you have 4 16-ounce bottles of water by your bed, whatever. So don't use anything as an excuse for not doing this. And it becomes super easy to get your 8 glasses of water. I actually, for a long time, had a little Post-it notepad by my water glass. And every time I drank a glass of water, I would put a little hatch mark to make sure that I got my 8 glasses of water. And guess what? If it got to the end of the day and I'd only had 6, before I went to bed, I made sure I had 2 more glasses of water. And sometimes that meant I had to stay up another half an hour. But I made sure that I always got, and I still make sure I don't have to do the little tally sheet anymore, but because you get to the point where you can feel if you've got the right balance of water in you or not. I mean, if you're having to go to the bathroom all the time, it's too much. If you're going to the bathroom and it's too yellow, it's not enough, so you need to beef it up. But there's formulas you can look up, scientific formulas for theoretically how much water we should all get. But bottom line is you got to listen to your own body and decide what's the right balance for you. But water cleans out everything, all the toxins and all the nonsense that's in our body. So do yourself a favor and consume enough water, at least 8 glasses, and then figure out what the balance is for you. Sometime, like during the summer for me, it's more like 12 glasses. And if I'm going for a 6-mile hike at the park, guess what? I've got my, I forget what it's called, but it's that pouch with water in it. I've got that on my back, and I'm taking that to the state park. That's probably at least 2 quarts of water. So it depends what you're doing, of course. But water. So I think I'm going to make that the challenge. Since there's so many other things on this topic that we could have be our challenge, I'm not going to challenge you to give up sugar. I'm not going to challenge you to give up salt. I am going to challenge you to do this 8 glasses of water a day trick. Set it up so that it works for you. But 8 glasses of water today, and if it helps to have the little hash mark sheet, do that too, because I will tell you, that really helped me to stick with my goal and be accountable to it. That's it. Go out, have an awesome, pain-free day, and I will see you tomorrow with another awesome, terrific, pain-relieving challenge for you. Bye.